Since 2011, Nigeria have been experiencing insecurity. But Nigeria as a state is being threatened recently because of consistent ongoing insecurity killings in the country. Most of these killings are said to be foreigners invading Nigeria to kill citizens and go away with it, while government officials have been indicted as complicit to what is going on. When such things are going on in a country, anyone who wants to talk about the solution to the problem would be listened to. There is an elder statesman, his name is Mr. Bode George. He has experienced leadership both in the military regime and in the democratic regime. He's an elder statesman. He played a major role in the establishment of the People's Democratic Party, an opposition party in Nigeria that was one time the biggest party in Africa. He talked about so many things in this video. He talked about the constitution of Nigeria. He said it is time to throw it away and have a new constitution. He talked about the state and local police, why Nigerians should act urgently before the country will get worse.
And all this insecurity, what is causing it? You see, because one, we concentrated every control of the police on the seat of the IG. It cannot work. You need every state to have its own policemen on ground. Whatever it's going to cost us, these are, ideas. How many can you, because police work is purely communal work. And if you want to do community work, it means you will employ people from that community to be the policemen. They know themselves, they know the language, they know the culture, they know the people who is here or who is not there. So when they find somebody unusual, they can tell you, what do you want here? And authoritatively, they know. So we need a combination of all those. Rather than wasting money and stealing money and saying you are giving people, security of lives and property is the number one job for anybody in government. Once that is secured, then you can go to the lower level of what you want to do for the people. But without securing their lives, who is safe? Who you even know who is after you? Look, I am sure he has some men there now. Nuru Ribadu is there. They can look for states, commit states to have these surveillance cameras. So once you are not there, you will, of course, if you have surveillance cameras and not without the infrared, you don't have power to fire them again. You see the interconnection. We need surveillance cameras. Electricity must fire them, or you have the solar to fire them. Things have to be done, and it cannot be in a year or 2 years. But they must start it now. Let the people see that you are doing something. Not just go there, the accountant general release another 2 billion somebody into a private account. It is madness, absolute madness.
So Chief George, if I may, that maybe this will bring me to the broader question. Are you saying, in essence, by talking about the state police, which I'm sure you've been consistent on, it brings us to the broader question of restructuring Nigeria?
Absolutely. Now, I am so happy that, in fact, the former INEC professor, I've forgotten his name, also mentioned Dahiru Jega. Yes, he himself said, for the first time, that's a full animal, saying, look, this country, what we had seen during the Buhari administration and all that, because our colleagues in the north are not seeing it that way, some of them. But we must restructure this country. The constitution we are running is completely military. How do you now sustain just one man in Abuja to be controlling all the corners of Nigeria? It's rather impossible. Every month, every state heads to Abuja to go and chop all the money there, and then you come back home. Devolve power to the state. Let the people feel that this governor that we have here, if you don't perform, you are at our call and beg. We are not going to know Abuja. Whatever the resources we have here, we will maximize the resources for the benefit of the people. Look at the way they chop the local government. Lagos State is the largest, in terms of population. But what is the number of local governments that we have? 20 local governments. Next in population is Kano. Kano has 44 local governments. And every local government gets something from the federation account. Where is justice? Where is fairness? Let us remain. I believe that Nigeria must exist, but it must exist with justice, with fairness, and equity. What is good for the goose must be good for the gander. You cannot be paying lip service to it. It's irrespective of the political parties. We must restructure. We must throw away this nonsense constitution we're running. I served in the military. I was trained in the military, and you see the kind of system we have is from top to bottom. Military, you have only one boss, the chief. And if he gives you directives and you don't comply with it, you are in trouble. But in democracy, the power must come from the base upwards. That is why the way we are even doing and running all these electoral activities, totally shambolic. You look at the pre-election maneuvers, the campaigns, the movements. Then on the day of the election, all the wahala by the people voting and counting and all that, and then you disagree with the results, then maybe 7 or 3 at the appeal court, 7 at the Supreme Court, will now decide who is to be the president, who is to be the Senate president, or the senator, or the House of Rep, or governor. That doesn't sound well. What have you done with the powers of the people? The best they should do in any court of law is to send you back. Once they are satisfied that this thing didn't follow all the procedure, go back and do it again. So Chief, you see, from one step, from one mistake to another mistake, and we are aggravating and expanding the mess. So it has engulfed us now. Most of those people who are there went through court. The judiciary now decided who should be the leader of the people. Did the people really vote for him? Let the people decide. Let the will of the people be respected. You cannot continue. We can't continue like Nigeria. Look, right now in Europe, people are looking down on Nigeria. People are looking down on us. Look at Kenya. Kenya is now a responsible, respectable country. Look at Gambia held elections. All these other little places held elections. It is not the Supreme Court who would decide for them.
All right, Chief George, if I may butt in, I'm going to stay on this for a few more minutes because there's a lot of questions I want to ask you. Is State of the Nation, as an elder statesman, there's a lot we need to glean from you in terms of your perspective. But before I leave off this issue, some people have said, when it comes to changing the Constitution, the National Assembly rely on Section 8 and 9 to do amendment. And people like the learned Olisa Bakoba had said, look, we don't need amendment, we need a replacement. Literally, that's what he's saying, relying on Section 4, 1, 2, and 4 of the Constitution. But some people have also argued that if you're trying to replace the Constitution, because he held that, look, our Constitution, in his view, is just a schedule attached to an act. So just pull that schedule out, do what you can, and replace it. Well, those are legal, technical terms. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just interpreting what he's trying to say. But the argument some people are making is that, what about that interregnum? What happens between that change, where you're trying to make that change, as against how the state will be run in between all of that? So what will be your reaction for those of you who are advocating for a total scrapping of this Constitution and a total replacement?
You know, what I said, and I want to remind our people, I was privileged to have been a member of the Constitutional Conference under President Jonathan. President Jonathan, he will go down in history as a very, very respectable, responsible, reliable, committed Nigerian who set up that Constitutional Conference. We took the present Constitution, x-rayed it, and we looked at it, what can be amended, what is working, what cannot work, and at the end of the session, I think we spent about 6 months there, something had been done on the current Constitution. And God bless the then chairman of, he's late now, Justice Kuchigi, and Professor was the professor from Osun State, was Abolaji. Yeah, he was the deputy chairman. And who was who? The military, the civilians, the elders, the youths, all kinds of people were there. And at every plenary session, at the final discussion, everything that was approved was put to vote. And it was unanimously agreed. When Jonathan took that vote, and when we concluded that conference, a report for the first time, a civilian administration took on the Constitution of Nigeria. We x-rayed it. We submitted a report. The report is still there in the villa. So don't let everybody tell us that, oh, you want to start all over again. What are you starting all over again? Get that report. Let them start working. Those in the National Assembly, if they are not there just to deceive themselves, because someday they are going to leave that Senate, their positions, and come back to roast at home. This thing is not working. Today they are there, pretending that they are working, they are doing it, it is not working. We must reduce the powers at the center. Jonathan submitted that report to President Buhari. President Buhari said, look, put it in the archives. He's not interested. But it is now so obvious that unless we do something about this, this country is going into the bottom of the sea. Nothing is working. I listened to all the objectives of Bola for the 2024. You see, at the end of God making us to be alive, you will find out that it has achieved nothing. It has achieved. It will. I'm not praying that it will not achieve one or two things. But the thing he listed here with the current constitution, it is not working. And now the problem is all over Nigeria. Whether you are in the north, or you are from the south, or you're from the east, or from the west, it is not working. It is just a bragado of a few people to stonewall and then to drive this thing down our throat.
All right, Chief, if I'm important,
what is the business of Abuja in Lagos Island? What is the business of Abuja in Kano? What's the business of Abuja in Sokoto or Maiduguri or Calabar or Port Harcourt?
Chief, if I'm about
the will of the people.
Sorry, sir. If I'm about in Chief George,
yes.
Which brings me to the next question. Each time you listen to the president, since he started speaking to the nation through broadcast or nationwide broadcast, he's always mentioning the fact that the country should be patient, that we're going to face difficult times before we enjoy in the future. Do you agree? Do you see that? Should Nigerians take it from him as their president, knowing that, okay, he knows exactly what he's doing? Everybody wanted fuel subsidy to go. Everybody wanted us not to have parallel market, we should have one uniform market. He's put those reforms in place, and he said these reforms will hurt the system for a bit, but give it time, it's going to work itself out, and Nigerians will be better for it. Do you agree?
No, I don't. I don't look at crystal ball. I have been there. I have been in the military, and I have been in the civilian administrations. I have campaigned from the swampy forest in the south to the savannah regions in the north. The country is in a terrible despondency. There is no amount of manipulation and all this trying to now, if a system is not working, no matter how much patch you think you can slam this to this, you are just patching up. It won't take a strong wind to blow it into pieces. Let us be serious, for God's sake. Look, now today is there, Mr. President. What he will be remembered, because whether he likes it or not, there will be, time when he will leave. And when he leaves, people will now x-ray his period. Did he put something positive to impact on the people, or his impact on the people brought more damages to the lives and properties of our people? What about the future generation? Look at the amount of money from the central bank into private pockets, from the central bank into private enterprises. Is that a system? Is that a system that is working? Look, the amount of debt portfolio we have now, who is going to pay? Who? The younger generations?
Chief, sometimes,
now, there's no
my
job.
apologies for butting in, Chief.